Welcome to the Explainer. Now, today we are tackling a topic that honestly usually makes people's eyes just completely glaze over: corporate legal updates. But I promise you, what we're looking at today is actually a really fascinating solution to a problem we all secretly hate. We're examining Linkspreed Group's latest update, which they're calling their architecture of trust. So rather than just reading a dry list of new rules, we're going to look at how they're completely reimagining the way a digital community interacts with its own guidelines. Okay, let's dive into this with part one, navigating the legal maze and the problem with traditional compliance. We all know these legal updates are historically dry, completely scattered, and let's be real, usually ignored. So why are legal documents usually so incredibly frustrating to navigate? I mean, we've all been there, right? You just want to use a new app, so you mindlessly scroll straight to the bottom and click I agree, just to get past that massive, intimidating wall of confusing corporate jargon. Historically, these updates are just so dry, they're scattered across a million different pages, and the important stuff is buried in the fine print. It's a fragmented, exhausting experience that actually ends up discouraging us from understanding our own rights and protections. And you know, what makes Linkspreed Group's approach so refreshing is that they're actively validating that exact pain point. Just looking at the recent announcement, they bluntly state, let's be honest, navigating legal documentation across different platforms can be frustrating. I love that. They aren't hiding behind some corporate shield. They completely understand the headache of tracking down scattered files, and they're acknowledging that the old way of doing things, it just doesn't work for a modern, transparent community. And this brilliantly illustrates what we're looking at in part two, introducing the Legal Hub, a centralized foundation of trust. Because they recognized that deep user frustration, Linkspreed didn't just quietly update a few paragraphs of text. No, they realized that a community simply cannot scale if the users don't trust the foundation it's built on. You can have the absolute best technology in the world, but innovation literally means nothing without trust. So, to build absolute clarity and confidence, they realized they needed a single digital roof, a dedicated space created specifically to give the entire community effortless access to the rules of the road. They didn't just move files from one scattered folder to another. Actually, scratch that. They completely overhauled the entire user experience. You're going from that frustrating old way, the scattered documents and hidden jargon, to a completely new legal hub with a clean, responsive interface. Whether you're sitting at your desktop or just scrolling on your smartphone, it's now simpler than ever to find the exact information you need, all beautifully centralized in one easily scannable space. So let's keep this moving with part three, what is inside? Unpacking the new digital roof. Now, knowing where to look is really only half the battle. Knowing what you're looking at is just as important. All the core frameworks interact seamlessly right here in this one space. First, you have your privacy policy, or Datenschließung, showing exactly how your data is safeguarded. Then, the terms of use act as the community guidelines to ensure a safe, fair environment for everyone. And finally, cookie and compliance policies provide really straightforward insights into how they respect your digital footprint. Every single piece works together to protect the users, the partners, and the creators. Moving on to part four, why update now? The catalyst behind the change. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the actual corporate milestone driving all of this. Well, companies don't just completely overhaul their legal frameworks on a random Tuesday, right? There is always a catalyst. This actually represents a major strategic corporate restructuring for Linkspreed. Step one, they're optimizing their internal architecture. Step two, this supports global scaling and the rollout of some really powerful new features. And step three, naturally, as the company optimizes internally and prepares for this massive growth, they absolutely had to update their legal agreements. It ensures the legal framework perfectly aligns with that bold future vision. Which brings us to our final section, part five, your action plan securing the future together. While the corporate structure is dynamically changing and scaling, Linkspreed makes it incredibly clear that their core values of transparency remain exactly the same. But to make that transparency actually work, they need you to be an active participant. So here's the game plan. Head over to legal.linkspreed.com. Just take a brief moment to review the updated terms, see that incredibly clean new interface for yourself, and honestly, just bookmark the page. Taking this one simple step ensures that as the ecosystem grows, you remain secure, informed, and valued. We've seen the serious effort Linkspreed Group has put into dismantling that old legal maze and constructing this highly accessible legal hub. So here's the real question to leave you with.
As Linkspreed scales to new heights, how will this foundation of absolute trust empower the future we are building together? When a community truly understands its rights and feels secure in its environment, the potential for innovation is literally limitless. Go explore the hub and see what absolute trust looks like in practice. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer.